Invest in Yourself podcast, brought to you by Lewis Real Estate, recorded at the Lewis Business Center in West Hartford, Connecticut. I'm your host, Razul Wallace, and today's guest is Maria Rose McNamara. She goes by Maria Rose, and she is the founder of Freedom Health Movement. She represents Impact Health Sharing. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Because that sounds interesting.
Oh, yes. Yes, excited, passionate to share a little bit more about who is Impact Health Sharing. What does that mean?
Yeah.
So my background, I have a lot of background in business, but I also worked in corporate as a registered dietitian. So when I was working there, which was in the mid-90s, I worked in long-term care mostly. And that's where I saw, that we really have a broken healthcare system, right? I don't know how much it's working for the people, and it's just not getting any better.
No, it's not.
So I was always praying, I needed to make as much money as I could so that if something major would have happened to me, right, I have enough money to pay for it myself if my insurance wasn't going to be there for me.
Yeah.
And then all these years later, about, 2 years ago, I got involved with this company. It's been around 5 years now.
Yeah.
I found this company that actually I don't have to worry about it because they're a community not-for-profit company that's affected now over, I've got the notes here, more than 17,000 lives in a decentralized, not-for-profit, transparent company.
That sounds amazing.
And if you have heard of health sharing before, sharing has been around a long time, mostly in some religious communities or other communities where if you went a certain amount of time, members would help pay for your bills. You just bring your bill back and they'll help you pay.
Yeah.
But our CEO and founder of our company said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make this nationwide membership. No need to be a part of any religious organization. We're ethics-based. And you can see any doctor you want anywhere in the country. And you don't have any stipulations of traditional insurance, like can I go to this doctor, can I go to that doctor? If you need it, they're going to be there for you.
Wow.
So it's definitely a modernized concept of health sharing.
Yep.
And we have grown exponentially in the last 5 years. Like when I started 2 years ago, I think there was 4,000 members, and now there's over 16,000.
That's awesome.
And not only that, but I've got another note here. We've paid out over $25 million in bills.
Really?
Yeah. And every single one has gotten paid.
So that's super interesting. I think it just triggers a bunch more questions.
Yeah.
How is it sustainable? Or how is it sustainable? Just because, from my perspective, one of the biggest challenges is just the cost of the services. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
But why are they so high?
No, that's a good question. Do you have an answer for that?
Traditional insurance is for profit, and we're not for profit. We don't have a middleman. We don't have centralized just financing. I probably didn't say that right, but we have every member has their own account.
Okay.
And every member is going to contribute, right?
Yep.
And then what Impact does is they move the money for the member in need, and then they do the same for you. So I think of it as like a potluck.
Yeah.
Everybody contributes a little, and there's enough for everyone. And a matter of fact, it's so transparent that every member has access to a portal that has all the financial information, right down to administrative fees.
Huh. That is super interesting.
Yeah.
Very
and we the last I looked, I think we collect over 30. I think we're at 31 million, and our balance is 10.
Wow.
Which brings me some other point, because they reward you for doing things that are healthy.
Gotcha.
So healthy behaviors, like let's say you want to go to a naturopath and they prescribe vitamins or supplements. Let's say you belong to a gym, and under that I have a Peloton, so that's included too. Or let's say you see a direct primary care doctor. So I see a direct primary care doctor. The money that we're paying into those things can actually reduce your deductible.
Oh, wow.
Up to $150 every month you could submit in receipts.
That's awesome.
Just for doing things that are healthy. And we can help businesses.
Yeah.
Their employees.
So self-employed people.
Yep, definitely.
Because that's one of the biggest challenges for people that are self-employed.
Absolutely. And like 49 or less is where I specialize. Those small businesses get hit the hardest.
Yep.
People that lost their jobs. With us, if they had this, they would not lose their insurance, or sharing in this case, because it will stay with you anywhere you want to go. So let's say a company decided they wanted to get this for them and their employees. If the employee has to leave for any reason, let's say he moves or something happens and they can't be there anymore, they don't need to go on COBRA and pay those high prices. We're saving people 30 to 70% on their healthcare costs.
Wow.
And with lower deductibles. And so they can just keep it and take it with them. And if the employee wants to incentivize a little bit, and set up where they can help pay for that member too, they can do that.
That's
Or their
awesome.
employee, yeah.
Now, do you have to start with the company to be able to access it, or can you start as an individual?
You can start as an individual.
Do you get better terms or premiums with the company, or same as individual?
Yep, we go by age, not income.
You go by age, not income. So your premium is going to be based more on your age than anything else?
Right.
And what about like pre-existing conditions and things like that?
Yeah, so when it comes to pre-existing conditions, one, we're not going to turn anybody away on that. But they're all different. So everybody has a different degree.
Yeah.
So it's going to be individualized.
Okay.
So let's say somebody has had cancer maybe 5 years ago.
Okay.
But today, when they want to sign up, they don't have any signs, symptoms. They're not being treated for it at all anymore. It's completely gone. It's been more than 3 years. So if it were to come back, after this day forward, it would not be considered pre-existing.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. So this sounds really great. It sounds like it's very people-centered, more so than profit-centered.
Absolutely.
Which I love, and I think that we should kind of gear more things in society that way.
It's about time, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
So were you in insurance before you got with this, but you saw this and you just saw the value with it and you were like, I had to be a part of it?
Yeah, being a registered dietitian, being in the healthcare space and seeing, what was going on. I mean, this is bad. I don't know if I can say this on the podcast, but they deny or delay your claims to the point where you either get sick or you die. And then who makes that money? And where does our money go?
Yeah.
With us, it's your own account, literally, so that if you decided you didn't want to be with Impact anymore, which I don't know why anybody would want to leave, but let's say they did, that money after 60 days goes back to the number.
That's dope. Jesus. Okay. So you said you've been with them, with this entity for a while now?
About 2 years.
About 2 years. Mm-hmm. And how did you get connected with them? How did you get started with them?
So I have a business background, I was saying before, right? I owned an auto body shop with my first husband, right?
Yeah.
That shop, we didn't, but the shop lasted over 30 years.
Wow.
And I remember healthcare being, oh my God, it's going to be so expensive. I had no idea until I got into business for myself. And then I, like I said, became a registered dietitian after that, and then always had some form of business ownership on my own.
So you're like a serial entrepreneur.
I'm a serial entrepreneur.
Nice.
Yeah, that is what they call me.
Yeah.
I have a vodka sauce label that's my own too. Like So
you had the auto body shop.
Auto body shop.
Registered dietitian.
Yep.
You do the insurance collective.
Sharing. Yep.
Impact Health Sharing. Mm-hmm. Have you had any other businesses along the way?
Well, I had my own natural nutrition, so not only did I work in long-term care, but I had my own, I would do counseling for
do you still do that?
I don't do that much anymore. No.
Okay. You just have the knowledge,
I like
though.
this. I do have the knowledge.
And you use it yourself?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I keep my my license up because every 5 years you have to make sure so you're staying up to date on things. So I definitely do that. That was a lot of long words to learn.
Yeah.
So that's not going anywhere.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're with the Impact Health Sharing, and with that,
I know we lost the question, didn't we?
No, you answered, but you answered. You kind of went through everything. So
okay.
I'm just kind of readjusting to say, all right, so this is where we are now, because you basically answered all the questions that were next.
Ooh.
It was natural flowing, so I love it.
Ooh, okay.
Can you share some examples, 1 or 2 examples of how you've invested in yourself?
Oh, yeah.
All right. And what the investment was, and then like how impactful it was. Do you know what I mean? And if you had like a dollar amount, sometimes that helps to kind of make it more tangible also. Meaning
of how much I invested in myself?
Either how much money or time.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So it's kind of a long and a short answer.
Okay.
So I always knew back when I was 12, right? I knew like my brother actually, he loved music. And I remember I was super young and he's like, you hear this song? He was 13 years older than me. He goes, do you hear the song on the radio? And I'm like, yeah, and I love music. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, do you know he wrote that once and he gets paid on it, every time it plays. And I was like, oh my God, that's exactly how I want to get paid in life, right? Go outside and you see the sky and you see people, working. And it's like, I don't want to be working. I want to be doing what I want, right? So I was always after something more than just your traditional job. So that's why we started businesses and, and other things that I tried to do for myself. And of course I had kids along the way, so I have 3. And as they were growing up, I wanted to spend as much time with them as I could and have a flexible, job, so to speak,
exactly
right?
What you mean.
And I didn't think there was a way to do that. When, having the auto body shop, my husband at the time, like he worked so much and you can never rest because if he left, he was worried about the shop. If he was there, he was worried about it. Like it just didn't matter. And then when I had to go out on my own, my mom was very supportive. She was the most supportive person. And she said, you need to find something to do. And I'm like, I liked food and nutrition. So I always say I accidentally became a registered dietitian. But I went to school winter and summer.
Okay.
So that was one of the things to better myself. I was horrible in science in high school. Horrific. I would have never thought, I like food. I didn't know how scientific it was when I started. I mean, chemical equations, like.
Oh man, you learned those?
Oh yeah.
Word.
Oh yeah, it was awful. But I did it, and I did well.
And also you were a lot more engaged too because you could see directly how it would impact, and you were like more motivated than when you were in school and you're like, what is the purpose of all this?
Right, you're going for a reason, right? You have this purpose. So then you start finding a purpose, which, more and more, like from the minute my first daughter was born, I'm like, wow, love. I didn't know what it was until I saw this firstborn, right? And then you want to do everything you can. You want to protect them. And then, number 2 came along, number 3 came along. So you want to do something for them. So, and be with them. So a lot of people go to work and they're not with their kids because they can't be because the economy is so horrendous. And now, I really wanted a balance. I really wanted both. And I really wanted to raise my children the way I wanted to with my own values. So I know, long way to
no,
answer.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, and residual. I wanted to make income residual.
Well, that's a smart way. I think. I agree. That's a smart way to earn money, right? Sometimes the work is front heavy, but you can keep getting paid by it over time. Whereas, in the traditional 9 to 5, you work this hours, you make that money for that hour, but that's it. You're done.
Right.
So I'm right there with you. I've been investing in real estate for years, so it's kind of a similar type of idea.
Okay. And everybody, when they let you go on vacation, you're going to Disney with everybody. Don't you want to go when no one's there?
True, right? Because you have the flexibility and control to say when you can't. You go when you want to go, basically. Not when these other entities say you can go.
Right.
So you actually answered like a lot of the next question, which is staying motivated and disciplined. From what I've gathered, it just sounds like you feel it to the core, like the value that it brings, which I think probably adds to your motivation. And it doesn't sound like it's hard to stay motivated or that. But if there's anything you want to add, how do you stay motivated and disciplined? So in life, right? If you don't have a direction of what makes you get up in the morning. So you follow the book Think and Grow Rich, right? That's one of the books, right? That's a good one.
First you need a desire to do something, right? First you want to do something. But do you really want to do it? Like most people will be like, oh, I want this, but they're not willing to put in the time or the sacrifice to get to where they want to go.
Right.
So I decided, I had all the excuses too, and I looked in the mirror and I'd be like, I have to look in the mirror. This is my problem. I could ask anybody a question around me, like my mentors, I could be like, okay, I could ask this person about this. And I'm like, nope, I know what they're going to say, because what happens is you look in the mirror and you go, your answer is right there. So you have to, and then I take their advice. Like I did go to something called the Landmark Forum, right? And that is like a real like weekend immersion of who you are, because
the Landmark Forum.
And before you can really talk to other people, or let's say if you're in sales, sell to other people or anything like that, first you got to be confident and invest in yourself, because when you 100%. Can attract, and be confident in who you are, then you can help other people get where they want to be. Right? And be an effective coach.
For sure.
So that is, it was so important. I could never public speak. Nope, I wanted to cry and crawl under a rock. until somebody said, well, you know, you kind of have to. I'm like, I don't know if I want to.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic came along, right? We're going to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Zoom happened. So I could take my presentations, what I needed to know, and I could do it sitting down behind a computer. There might be people on
That's
there.
cool.
It's still a little scary.
Right.
But I was able to really learn a lot about, you know, public speaking, learn
Yeah.
a lot about my subjects.
Yep.
And then,
So you essentially kind of got to practice it
Yeah.
to a significant degree, but with a little bit of a buffer
yes.
behind the screen.
Right, because you could have a little note, you know, like on your
Yeah.
computer and be like, oh, if I don't remember that, it's there. But if you're like standing in front of a lot of people,
Yeah.
you don't know.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But then the other thing is you find out too, is when you go and talk in front of a lot of people and you do make a mistake, it makes you human
Yeah.
so that people in the
Right.
audience understand like it's okay.
Right. No, it's true.
Right.
But that's a part of the process, right? Confronting the fear and the discomfort. And then as you're in it, realizing, hey, I'm human just like everyone else. And people understand. So you become less worried about making the mistakes and you just go and continue to go.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that's another investment in yourself that you made, the Landmark Forum.
Landmark Forum, another, this guy, he's called the world's laziest networker.
Yeah.
And I followed a lot of him, which followed a lot of the same principles as the Landmark Forum did.
Yeah.
And basically just, it's hard to explain, but the meaning, you know, what the meaning of life is really the meaning that we give it. So we
I feel
choose.
you on that.
Yeah.
I feel you on that. Okay. What are some of the biggest challenges you faced as a business owner?
Well, that was it.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out who I was and what can I give to someone to order, because it's your why, your reason why is your reason why, right? That's my children. My
Yeah.
children will always be my reason why I want to do everything. Yes, I want to travel and I want to do all those things.
Yeah.
But more than any of that, I want to give them everything that I possibly can.
Yeah.
And when you build that residual with my company, you can leave it to the kids too. So you can build something and leave to them.
That's what's up.
So if that motivates me every day. I will get up and do whatever I have to do and get as, you know, better
Yeah.
and better every day, because, you know, I'm not perfect. I'm trying every day.
I hear that.
You know?
I hear that.
Yeah.
You sound like that's what we're all trying to do.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Did COVID impact your business?
It made it better.
It made it better.
It made it better.
Well, you said as an example,
Yeah.
you did
Yeah.
a lot of Zooms and you were able
Right.
to.
Yep.
That's interesting.
And my company with Impact, it's part of another company. They needed to build distribution with a company that I was already involved with, and we do all kinds of essential services. So I have partnerships with companies like AT&T and T-Mobile and Vivint
right.
Securities and like electricity, you know, in all states that are deregulated. So like basically being able to everybody use those things more. Internet,
Yeah,
right? Television,
yeah, yeah.
right? They used them all more during that pandemic.
Yeah.
So, you know, and you can earn really income without having to go to an office. You could be home.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And with Zoom, now you can connect with people around the world.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
But you know, we're all throughout the United States, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
How conscious are you about intentionally creating your environment?
Very.
Okay.
Yes. One thing I learned is if you are surrounding yourself with people, one, that are better than you, but if you are around people that you, well, that's for my mentors, right? You know, who
Yeah.
are better than me to help me get better.
Yeah.
People that have been there before me, but how can I help other people the best that I can? Well, have you ever been in a situation where, you know, you're going home and you're upset every day and it's like, I don't know, this just doesn't feel right, but I really need to push through. That's kind of a sign that maybe that's not the right path.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of weigh that out. And then maybe if you let that go and go somewhere else, it's going to open up other doors that are better.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I like that. That's something that I'm actively seeking personally. Being around people that are where I want to be. So that's one thing that I'm actively, consciously working on also. What best practices or guiding principles have contributed to your success?
I don't know, kind of things I've talked about, but like principles of, I don't know, give me an example. Like,
So for me, one of my guiding word for 2025, I think, is going to be process. you know, because, you know, we always focus on the outcomes. But from my experience, it's like what you do day to day is ultimately what gives you the outcomes that you have. So I'm thinking about what I do each day or how I schedule my days or weeks towards, you know, the life that I want to live, I guess. So rather than just focusing on the outcome, I really become very more aware of, you know, what process looks like in my day-to-day life.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, plan my schedule.
Yeah.
My calendar.
Yeah.
I tell everyone, if it's not on there, it's not happening. Like it needs to be on there.
100%. 100%. Because there's so much going on, it's so easy for it to just, you know, slip your mind.
Oh, yeah. And then ask for help when you need it. You know.
Asking for help is another good one. That's a good one.
Right.
Because we're so conditioned to kind of do things by ourselves.
Hold on one second. I'm sorry. This is the middle of the podcast, but she's running. Yeah, that's perfect. They're running 10 minutes late.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So we got more time.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Because I'm looking at the time, too. I know you have another meeting to get to in 5 minutes, but now we got 10 more.
Yeah.
But we're almost done. So what's one piece of advice you'd give to someone starting their entrepreneurial journey?
Yep. If somebody's starting their entrepreneurial journey, they want to do something, truly have that desire to do it, right? First, ask for the help that you need.
Yeah.
But really dig deep because it's gonna be a ride.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have to give up something. It is not easy to do. People always see the outcome. They don't see all the hard work that went to get there. So just be ready for that and do not give up.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I hear that. I like that. You said people they see the outcome, but they're not aware of what you have to give up for that. You know, one thing I would add to that is just is keep your lifestyle as lean as possible. And that's essentially what do you have to give up, like all the frills and everything. Because not only does it save you financially, but then your time, energy, and attention is not distracted and it's focused on whatever outcome or processes you need. So thank you very much for your time, Maria Rose. I really appreciate you joining us. If our listeners wanted to connect with you, what would be the best way for them to connect with you?
Absolutely. So one, call me. Text me. Go ahead. 860-916-3676. That's my number.
Say it one more time.
860-916-3676.
All right.
It's a tongue twister.
Yeah,
yeah, that's my number.
All right.
And
social media, anything
Facebook.
else?
I'm Maria Rose on Facebook.
Okay.
I don't know the exact handle.
Yep. But we can get it and then add it to the the details.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks a lot again, Maria Rose, and just remember. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just remember to invest in yourself because that's the best investment you can make.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right.